Another handoff to McRoberts. Finds a hole and gets another first down. Brought down at the 15-yard line. McRoberts with a big run.
And that's exactly what the coach is showing off. You want to settle the quarterback down, let him feel accomplished there with a few handoffs, carrying out some of his fakes, and then now you put him in a good down and distance to where there's a new mix of play calls. And I see, right here, wide outs to the wide field side of the field. Hopefully he's able to get there and complete the pass.
Good bullet into, I think that was into Malachi. Malachi Embers with the reception. Colin Daniels with a nice bullet right into his chest.
And that's what you look for, a little nice touch pass completion. Now he's feeling confident and comfortable there on first down. Here in second down, from Coach Cantwell, I'll try to the wide side of the field and see if he can set one of his receivers up for a pass here in the open space. But looking at that offensive line, it looks like it may be another run.
Hand off to McRoberts. Goes up the middle, but he's tackled by a group of Eagles. All right, we've got two wide. He's pitched out to Embers. McRoberts, but unfortunately he slips, brought down by the invisible man.
That turf monster will get you sometimes.
It'll get you, won't it? 42-0, Christian Academy finishes out the first half. We were at a running clock, 15-minute break for halftime, and we'll come back.
Technical difficulties. We think we have audio.
All right, so we have had some technical difficulties. It looks like we've got that fixed. Christian Academy leads at halftime 42-0 over the North Bullitt Eagles. And so it's going to take a break for a few minutes, and we'll come back, talk about the key points of the second half. We're under a running clock. This is going to be a great chance to get a lot of the younger players some experience. So stay with us.
The marching centurions will be led on the honor him. The band consists of 22 bands, 11 compression, and 7 guard for a total of 40 minutes on the field. Exodus 25:8-9. Let them construct a sanctuary for me that I may dwell among them. According to all that I am now to show you, as the pattern of the tabernacle and pattern of all its furniture, just so you shall construct it.
When you turn this iPad
what an excellent display of leadership and also just great execution there for the quarterback, Cole Hodge. 5 of 5, 109 yards in the first half, averaging 22 yards per throw. His longest was 37 yards, and he has amassed 3 touchdowns. As we look on the receiving end of things, there's been some great connection here going on with Connor Hodge. He had 1 reception for 37 yards and a TD, and Justin Ruffin, the newcomer, 1 reception for 17 yards and 1 touchdown as well. And Gavin Copenhagen, we talked a lot about him in the rushing category, but he has 2 receptions for 40 yards and 1 touchdown tonight. As far as rushing, Cole Hodge has had 1 carry for 19 yards, which has been his longest run here of the night. And Gavin Copenhagen, which I'm not sure he'll see much time here in the second half, but he's had 1 carry for 8 yards. And Jalen McRoberts had some really nice runs, and he is the leading rusher of the night. 6 carries for 24 yards there. And looking at North Bullitt there, quarterback Garrett Durbin is 1 for 6, 6 yards, no touchdowns. Not a lot of positive rushing yards here in the first half, where Caden Dorsey and Cole Graham have both had 5 carries, resulting in a net yardage of 8 yards in its totality. So also as we think about North Bullitt, their third down efficiency, they've been 0 for 5, and they've gone for it on 4th down, and they have been 0 for 1 there as well. So they hadn't got a lot done, as I stated before. 14 rushing attempts and -4 rushing yards. So I want to give a huge shout out to the Cal defense there. So a host of players making contribution, and no surprise, Gavin Copenhagen is leading the charge there with 6 tackles already here in the first half, followed by his counterpart Nate Heinrich with 3 tackles, Sam McCown with 4 tackles, and Gunnar McKillen with 2 tackles, and Bryce Reedmarsh with 1 tackle. So Connor Hodge, I certainly want to give him a shout out here for his contributions at the corner spot. We talked about one of the keys and successes of tonight's game is the defense's ability to continue that dominance from game 1, but also create some turnovers and eventually score. So Connor Hodge, interception, took it back to the house for 22 yards. And so those are your halftime stats for tonight's game, and we will be rejoined in the broadcast. And again, we apologize for the technical difficulty, and we should be on course here with 2 minutes remaining in halftime.
All right, Christian Academy back on the field, doing some warm-ups. 2 minutes left till we resume play. Clipper, you tell me that during the running clock, something I didn't know, that at 35 points we get a running clock, but also the quarters go to just 9 minutes. Is that just in the second half, or is that for each quarter that you're in a running clock?
Yeah, that primarily holds the case for our second half rule. So we have a 9-minute running clock here, and it goes by fast. So I know we're going to see lots of substitutes on both sides of the ball. And again, if you're North Bullitt, what you're trying to make sure you do tonight, again, is to establish and get some playing time as well for some of those younger guys to see you can count on as the season continues to unfold.
So it's exciting to see the younger players get in. You know, the fans are still packing the stadium on the Christian Academy home side. Beautiful evening. It started to sprinkle a little bit. There was some lightning way off in the distance, probably 20, 30 miles away. But when lightning is spotted, the officiating crew, per Kentucky High School Athletic Association rules, suspend play for 30 minutes. So that's why the game started late. But with the running clock for 3 quarters, we're going to actually probably get out of here a little early. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Hopefully everything's back up and running now. You know, again, just the atmosphere here, but also I think that that's led by the players who are excited about this team and excited about the new uniforms tonight, debuting in their first home game of the 2022 season. Exciting to see this team kind of start to find its way. I think that Coach Cantwell was not super pleased with their scrimmage play preseason. And they had a little bit of a wake-up call in an away game preseason scrimmage, and probably was one of the best things for them.
Definitely, I would have to agree it was one of the best things for him, because as a coach, you always go into every season with really high expectations just based on the talent and the amazing coaching staff that you have in putting these players in the right positions. We hear this word a lot, Phil, about having a certain swagger about yourself, right? And this team is certainly playing with a certain swag, and that swag is going to be a part of their identity as they go throughout the season.
As you said, we're going to see a lot of these young guys, and we can see it here on this return team. Deep for Cal. Looks like it's going to be number 9, Riley Wentz. I think it's number 14, Malachi Embers. In front of Riley Wentz has to point him out. Number 19, Chapman Russell, freshman. Also, Britt Redmond, number 6, in the middle. Number 5, Stone Perkins, who's very shifty, freshman. Grabs it and runs it ahead for a few yards. Clock down. They're going to spot that at the 30, just shy of the 40-yard line. Colin Daniels remains in at quarterback, the freshman, 6'4", freshman.
9 minutes, 9-minute quarters.
Handed off to number 36.
A nice push there by the offensive line. I know we've been giving them that due justice here all night, and I just wanted to continue to give them that due justice here as they're making a nice push up front there in the trenches.
Colin Daniels under center. Takes handoff to Reed Jeffers, but thrown over here to 84. Alex Owen, Jr.
And I'm mainly a defensive guy, but I have to pay much respect for the offense, obviously. And when you talk about the difficulty of making a play-action fake, doing a rollout, and setting your feet, the defender's there in your face, and a nice little touch pass, especially at Collins Daniels' height, size, and strength, you got to give him a lot of credit for really executing that play well. And there, the receiver just getting upfield and getting the extra yardage.
Colin Daniels in shotgun. Reed Jeffers next to him. He's got Stone Perkins and looks like Bryce Wilson on the left side. Handed off to Jeffries. He's brought down by North Bullitt 24 and 62. Cole Graham from the Eagles. Jeffries with a nice run, gain of about 6, and so he's got about 2 yards to go for the first down, 2nd and 2. Daniels again in shotgun. Jeffries next to him. Perkins and Wilson on the far side with Redmond on the near side. Colin Daniels looks to pass. Gets it to Reed Jeffries. Gets the first down.
And as a young quarterback, you're just taught to just settle your feet, settle down. And even if you don't get the opportunity to go through all of your reads, find the open receiver, and at the end of the day, you just want to have a positive play. And that's how you build confidence down the road, especially when you put these young guys in situations like this early in the season.
With that running clock, we're already at the 5-minute, 25-second mark. Daniels drops back to pass, throws it to Jeffrey Vizana, who he says got some wheels, and he's brought down around the 12-yard line, 13.
And we saw a really nice dose of Vizana late last week in the game. He had 3 carries for a little over 30 yards of a TD, and now we're getting a chance to see him catching some balls out of the backfield on a nice screen play. So little couple of dunks and dinks there for Colin Daniels. Some nice completion, as obviously with him being 6'4", as you stated, Phil, he doesn't have a problem seeing over the defender and making those nice touches here. So let's see if we now try to establish some of the run and get here in the end zone.
Christian Academy players are clapping. I believe it's going to be offside. It is. Offside for North Bullitt, and move it ahead 5 yards. So Jeffrey Vizana in at running back. Daniels under center. He's got 2 wide right. He hands off to Vizana, but he's run down quickly by a big North Bullitt player.
That's a great defensive play there by the defensive lineman. Obviously, in this offensive set, you're trying to spread that defense out, get some of those linebackers out of the box, and really just create an opportunity for your running back to hit the hole, make someone miss, and hopefully gets, positive yardage or either get in the end zone and score.
So Holland is in at center. Several other new linemen. Redmond is in motion. Colin Daniels in shotgun. Looks for somebody in the end zone who's open. It is Stone Perkins, but just thrown a little ahead of him.
As I talked about a few plays ago, that rollout, that's a difficult pass to make. Because not only your timing has to be good, but with the route runner, and especially just the trajectory on the ball right there in the back of the end zone.
Micah Aiken, tight end number 85, just in the ball game for the first time. Also freshman Zach Wampler, 65, with Patrick Money, number 79 on the line. Daniels in shotgun, looks to pass, decides to keep it, got into some trouble. And he's brought down. It was a slight gain.
But one thing you like about that play is he saw the pressure. He didn't look, it didn't look like he was under any kind of distress. Kept his eyes downfield, protected the football, and just see what kind of yardage he could get there on the third down play.
So it's 4th and 5. Cal's going to go ahead and go for it. Vizana next to Daniels. He's in the shotgun. He's got 1 left and 2 right. Finds an open man in the end zone. It was Britt Redmond who just went to his hands.
Yeah, those are those experiences that you can build on. A nice pitch and catch there, and now just again, the timing of it all and having the ability to be able to bring that in for a score. So many more opportunities will present here in this game for them to hopefully connect on a touchdown, as that looks like a really good, great executed play.
Hey, Jover, you heard of Daddy Ball. This is going to be play-by-play announcer ball. I've got my boys are in together on defense, so forgive me if I get a little excited.
Yeah, definitely no need for an apology there. So this is a special moment, and we certainly want you to enjoy it.
We still got Dobbin in at quarterback. Goes up the middle. Durbin, rather. Oh, my mistake. It was number 40.
Got some new linebackers in there as well. I see number 13, Connor Franklin there. has checked into the game. So, again, at every position, Coach Riley's trying to get these younger guys some reps and really have them come out there and show their skills and ability to get some repetition here on film.
Opening shotgun. Looks to pass. They're going to call a flag. I'm not sure it's going to be a... I guess he's going to call pass interference. And there's a Cal player down.
We can't see. Is it bandana?
No.
We can't see.
The Cal field hockey team has been busy competing in the Sacred Heart Apple Tournament. The Centurions ended first-round play with a 1-1 tie against Assumption before falling in the second round 1-0 against Sacred Heart. They will be on the road next Tuesday night, 5:30 p.m. at Ballard. Good luck, Cal field hockey.
It's unclear what the flag was for. Injured player is now up. Looks like he's walking off on his own. That's good to see. Malachi, he's a junior. I think we thought that I forget which linebacker it was, holding the receiver, but I don't believe that pass is catchable. But nevertheless, they're going to advance the ball. So that's going to bring up the end of the third quarter. Christian Academy leads 42-0 over the North Bullitt Eagles. We'll be back for the fourth quarter here in just a second. 9-minute quarter. It'll go fast. It won't go away.
Yeah, it looks like Malachi, for whatever reason, his elbow looks like what he was holding there at the end of the play. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I know his teammates are on the sideline and concerned, and we'll continue to see what happens.
Looks like Christian Academy's got some big games coming up. Next week they're going to play Bullitt Central here at Centurion Stadium. It's at 7:30. Be a good Memorial Labor Day weekend game to check out. And then they travel down to Lexington. They face the Lexington Christian Academy on September 9th. And then they'll face off against Owensboro Catholic. They had a pretty good game against them last year down there in Owensboro. And so Owensboro now comes up to play us at home, followed by Mercer County, Henry County, and then the big rivalry in October 7th, DeSales. Pass was almost caught. Receiver was fairly open.
Yeah, and I'm going to help you out, Phil. That was a nice outside rush against Chapman Russell, the freshman, number 19.
I missed that, Coach, so I'm glad you saw that.
Forced the quarterback to throw that ball, and those things kind of go unnoticed. So great pursuit there. Took a really good angle, and oftentimes you're taught on that backside to trend toward the outside shoulder of that quarterback to make sure that there's no cutback, and he certainly perfected the rush there on the outside.
M.I. was on the older brother who was playing corner and making sure he was got that coverage. Yeah, Turf's got several players today, including just now. So they're going to give it to Nate Ehrenborg. Assist by the Turf Monster.
Yeah. And we've talked about breaking records, and I got to believe that you announcing your son Andy and Chapman playing here at the same time, it's got to be some sort of record here, or history in the making.
It's fun. It's exciting and emotional year for me watching this. It's no doubt. They played together as a first grader and preschooler in Mighty Mites, and now I'll get a chance to do it one more year. Bad snap. Durbin keeps, takes the pass, decides to keep it, and he's brought down by Rosanna and number 13, Connor Franklin.
Yeah. Nice wrap up there by Connor Franklin. Just stay focused there. You hear the eyes to the thighs. Wrap and roll.
There's that Seahawks tackle. It's picked off. Good spot for Dinko. Big sophomore.
In a great position there. Had the ball come right to him and followed his blocks and went up the field there. So got to be proud for that young defensive unit here to come out and join in a lot of this excitement here tonight from the defense, as they've now forced 2 turnovers. And as I talked about earlier, Connor Hodge had an interception for 22 yards in the first half for a TD, and a nice interception there by Fasano.
Vince Passadell has been a good baseball player. We're glad to see him translate that onto the football field, being able to catch a football intended for somebody else, snag and grab and run. Daniels rolls out, sees an open man in Micah. He got a touchdown!
Yep. He seems to have found his touch. Those rollouts are working very well. He got the receiver there running on a post route. He hit him in stride, and great connection there for 6 more points.
That's great to see. So Christian Academy on the board again, 48, just before the point after attempt. But we got a new kicker in, and can't see that number, Coach. 27. So it's going to be Jason Coleman point after attempt, and it got blocked. So Christian Academy remains at 48 points against North Bullitt's 0. 4:41 remaining of the running clock.
The Cal girls soccer team took on LCA early in the week, ending in a tie, but celebrated a 4-0 win versus Eastern last night. The Centurions are at home Monday night, 8 p.m. versus Nelson County. Come out and support Cal girls soccer.
All right, so Coleman will kick off. Jason Coleman, a sophomore, in for Berkman. Easton Eckridge back to receive, kickoff return. Coming with a good kick goes to Priest, who's almost brought down. Slipped up, but they're going to call a flag. I'm going to guess it's some sort of penalty on North Bullitt. We'll shake that back to probably another, somewhere just shy of the 20-yard line. Ends up being a block in the back on North Bullitt. 2-yard penalty. So shy of the at the 14-yard line.
Yeah, and you talked about Andy and Chapman having the opportunity to play with each other as Pee-wees in first grade, and I certainly want to take a minute to give a shout-out to our first and second grade team. Coach Manley has that team playing very well. They're 2-0 on the season, and even with our third and fourth grade with Coach Lowe also doing a fantastic job.
Irvin Rose out, looks for a receiver. He's got one open. He's stopped quickly by number 10, Hayden Peck.
Yeah, that was a great stop there.
You also talk about the youth program, Bilal Powell. Many people know Bilal is a great player at U of L and then for the Jets for many years. Now he's coaching a 5th or 6th grade team.
He is, and he's doing a phenomenal job there. I've had a chance to watch them the last couple of weeks, and just the adjustments being made in game, and just the tenacity and the fun that team seems to be having is really great to watch.
Oh, and he's sacked and fumbles, picked up by Chapman Russell. Great sack by Jeffrey Ravana, knocks the ball loose. Chapman Russell recovers, and it goes out of bounds at about the 9-yard line. And I think that Durbin was not expecting that, got a little stinger.
Yeah, he certainly was not expecting that. Three forced turnovers tonight by this defense, and 2 of them with the guys that typically don't get a ton of reps, so you have to be excited about that. We talked about earlier in the game, when you have these sort of scores here, you look for the little things, the heart, the dedication to finish the play, and really just continue to have that enthusiasm and intensity as you would as you're preparing for battle.
I'm sure I'm looking at it from a little bit of a rose-colored lens here, but it's nice to see the younger defense do really well. With the veteran defense starters, that these younger guys are still able to put the pressure on.
Yeah, and you realize, too, as a veteran, as you come on the sideline, the impact that you have. You really set the stage and the precedence for what's to come. So you going out there having a great showing, showing these young guys what good looks like, it definitely carries over. So they have come out, they've done what they're supposed to do, and 2 weeks in a row, Coach Wild and his defense has pitched a shutout.
And a big shutout at that. It's 48-0 is our final score. As Christian Academy goes 2-0 on their season. Again, next week they face another team from Bullitt County, Bullitt East. So be sure to join us for that. Good, it's exciting times for Christian Academy football. Obviously, a lot of exciting players to watch. It's one of those things where it's almost some of the dominant play against some of these teams. You won't be able to see a lot of them play because the younger guys did so fast. But it was a fun night tonight to be able to see Cal come out and perform the way they did on their home opener.
Yeah, total team effort. Everybody contributed because as you go into the season, everyone understands very quickly what their role is. These young men have accepted their roles, and sometimes the roles are obviously going to be very different for everybody. You're going to be the guy that's going to get in there and make sure that you represent the opponents well from a scout perspective. That's a big part of the preparation, and those guys oftentimes don't get a lot of credit. So you see a score like tonight, I often like to give credit to the practice squad because they give them the good looks in practice. They prepare them for these moments, and then the offense and defense is coming out here and able to execute, and then they're rewarded on the back end because of the work that they put in to prepare those starters, and then now to be able to come out and give them a little bit of dose as well, other things that they've demonstrated in practice.
One other great thing about Christian Academy is what we're seeing right now is at the end of every game they will have a prayer, and for them to be able to, most of the time, the majority of the time, I've always seen the opposing team sit with them, which is always exciting to see. Keeping the main thing, and for them to be able to have that chance afterwards, even after a large victory like a 48-0, to go and say, hey, this is not the most important thing in our lives. This is something that we love to do. We want to tell you what's most important. So that's exciting to see them do that and shake hands afterwards and have a word of prayer. Gaither, thank you so much. Go ahead and give us some of the ending stats here.
Yes, thank you as well. It's been great. And with the running clock that we have, with the 9 minutes in the third and the fourth quarter, still great to see teams come out and execute here in the second half. So Christian Academy finished the night 249 total yards, 169 in the passing game, and 80 rushing yards. Also, we want to talk about the number of turnovers. The defense amassed 4 turnovers on tonight, which is a huge difference maker as you compile that on with the great execution that was displayed there by the offense. And just as we talked about, we didn't see Cole Hodge in the second half. 5 for 5, 109 yards, 22 on average, 37 was his long, and 3 TDs. And it was great to see Colin Daniels come in, the freshman, to really settle into the offense. Some nice play calls to put him in a position to be successful in some of those rollouts, establishing good footwork, and putting a really nice touch there on the ball for his receivers to haul that in. He finished the game 5 of 9 for 60 yards on an average of 12 yards. 21 yards was his longest. And it's great to see his first TD there with 1 yard. As far as receiving, Connor Hodge, 1 reception for 37 yards, and we saw him take that to the house for 1 touchdown. Jeffrey Visano, we talked about him, his late game impact there. He had a reception for 20 yards. That was his longest. Justin Ruffin, nice to see him involved early and often in the game plan. He had 1 reception for 17 yards. And then Malachi Embers, 1 reception for 5. Gavin Copenhagen, again, a dual threat, rushing and receiving, 2 catches for 40 yards. I know rushing is probably going to be something Coach Cantwell goes back and takes a look at and makes sure that as the season continues, we're able to make sure that we're able to run the ball effectively between those tackles. So tonight, Jalen McRoberts was our leading rusher, 6 carries for 24 yards. Definitely followed there by Darwin Cotton, 1 carry for 17 yards. Reed Jeffries on the stat book tonight, 2 carries for 13 yards. And we've talked about a little bit from North Bullitt's perspective there. Not a lot of success, still experiencing those young guys, lots of inexperience, and we talked about some of those bumps and bruises that they're going to take early on in the season, but they certainly have to make sure that they learn from that. One thing that I want to talk about there, 3 penalties tonight for 26 yards defensively, 5 total penalties for 41 yards. They had 18 rushing attempts, negative 4 yards rushing, so couldn't quite get it done there in the rushing and passing. They only had 17 yards. So when you look at their total yards of offense tonight, definitely was not the output that they were definitely hoping for. They only totaled 13 yards for the entire game, but certainly a tribute to the Centurions defense. So looking at individual stats there for North Bullitt, Garrett Durbin, 2 of 9 for 17 yards. His longest was 11. And there's your look in the rush game. They had a couple of carries there. Gaten Dorsey, 5 carries. Cole Graham, 5 carries. They're both totaling 8 yards there. And then Hunter Puckett late in the game, 1 carry for 3 yards. And Jason Solzer was the lone receiver that had those 2 receptions for 17 yards. So a lot to build on as you think about the dominance of the Centurions defense and really feeding off the energy there provided by the offense in their early execution there. So my hat's off to this coaching staff, having this team prepared. We talked about the mental aspect of the game with it being delayed due to lightning in the area. They came out and responded. They got the black jerseys on tonight. They're feeling very good, very feeling confident, and their play certainly reflected that tonight.
Well, it's good to have some games where they can work out some of those issues, as they've got a couple games coming up against Lexington Christian, particularly here in a couple of weeks. Is going to be tough, and of course always preparing for that rivalry against DeSales. I think it's a lot of good football by Christian Academy is ahead of us, and so hopefully this team will continue to remain injury-free. Thankful for that. Other than Malachi, our prayers with him. Well, that's not severe. But another great night. First opener, first home game for the season of 2022, and Cal finishes with a very, very sizable victory at 48-0. Second shutout in a row, and thanks, Draper, for letting me fill in tonight. Thanks to Mike Patello for the opportunity. And I hope that after we got some of those kinks worked out technically that folks actually were able to hear us. Otherwise, it's been fun for me. So I appreciate it. And hopefully Mike might, maybe I should, it's kind of like, injuring Mike Patello, and hopefully I'll come in a second string for him more often.
Yeah.
But it's been a great night. Thanks for being here, and thanks you all for joining us. And go Cal, and we'll see you next time.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah. I don't know how you close this up.
Yeah, that's how I close.
Okay, good.
That's how I close.
Like, I don't really make it.
I'm sorry, what you guys said?
Thank you.
Are you welcome?
Yeah, hey, I want to play base 31, Bucharest. They watch out, started going bounce right back out fast.